You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Let's discover hard cover months, but it's this enough so you can know what's up in the hood.
Today, I will be asking you questions about how do you feel about Gen Z.
Okay.
So, first question, how do you really feel about Gen Z?
So Gen Z, I work with Gen Z. I feel that there's a very bright generation trying to find their way.
There's certainly some things in these last couple years, including kind of students of your age bracket, that I do think are kind of like some trends that I noticed that are different.
I feel like they are very knowledgeable, but don't use their knowledge wisely. Because it's like they have so much potential, but they want to stay in a box instead of exploring as much as they have to offer.
I noticed that they don't show up as much like after school. Like my room used to be busy after school. But I notice now like kids kind of just go home for the most part.
You all will be a lot more creative without phones, without drugs and things of that sort, right? I think that you'll be able to expand.
How do you think Gen Z will react without their phones or things they need?
Are you talking about trying to take a phone away from a Gen Zer? Hold on, wait, what did you say? What did you say? I'm sorry, what?
I think that the social emotional impact that social media has had on Gen Z is also a difference that my generation did not have to deal with.
Honestly, like phones can produce a lot of anxiety too, right? The more time you spend on your phone, do you feel happier? I don't know. A lot of studies suggest otherwise.
You taking this in all day. So a break will do you some good. I enjoy not having my phone during the work day because I need to be detached in the moment. I don't think people live in a moment enough. We're trying to capture every moment instead of living in the moment, and that can become problematic. You miss things. Just being overly accessible. Everybody can reach you at all times. When do you have time for yourself, right? To focus on who you are.
You have all the potential to do way better and way more things than we were able to do. I just think that we lived in a time and used what resources we had. And I think you all don't use your resources for good.
The drug issue is very different. I think that because of the social emotional issues, I think you find a lot of people doing harder drugs earlier. And so now you're depressed and you're sad, and how do you feel better? Well, I'm gonna take this perk 30. What they say, perk 30? Take this perk 30 and I'm gonna feel better. And it don't help.
I think weed has become so normalized that I don't know if we're ever gonna put that back in the box. You know, if I take a person who loves doing math or wants to be really good at this or that, and they start smoking weed, all of a sudden it's like, it's like, then they don't have that drive anymore. It's just kind of like everything just kind of flattens a little bit. The heavier stuff like Percocet and things like that, I think sadly what we're seeing is like the people who are getting hooked by that, and it is one of those drugs that when it grabs you, it owns you. And I'm seeing students who are getting grabbed by that who are basically saying like, help me get out of this. What's hard is we don't have good programs in place to help people make that transition off of that drug.
I think we all people here growing and learning and trying to do what we got to do. The challenges that Gen Z will face are not the challenges that we face. The challenges that we face are not the challenges that you guys face, right?
I think I've noticed my students are really good problem solvers. This Gen Z, maybe they've had to work through stuff in a different way, but like really good thinkers. Like just thinking deeply and thinking well and good at figuring stuff out.
I think that anybody is capable of improvement. I think that first they have to make the decision that that's what they want to do. Everybody grows up at some point. And so what we know Gen Z to be today, hopefully, is not what they are tomorrow as they age and mature. and life begins to happen and they begin to live and have some life experiences, absolutely there should be some changes. That's just a natural part of life.
Let's discover hard couple months, but it's this enough so you can know what's up in the hood.
Like, do you think you're addicted to your phone?
100%.
I don't know, when I think of like screen time specifically in my life, I've always felt like the term screen time has had like kind of a negative connotation. So I think of it a lot as like things like social media or just those things that sort of take up your time. I don't really think of it as time spent doing schoolwork. That's just not really what I associate it, even though it could technically count.
My number one concern with phones is students not being able to regulate their use of the phones.
Yeah, like if I don't know what to do with my hands, I need to grab my phone or something like that, or look down at my phone. I need to text my parents, or I need to see what's going on. It also helps me like find information out that I need. If I need to be quick on my feet about something, like my phone's right there, see what time it is, when do I have to go, and it has my whole schedule on there, you know?
Yeah, this week, 4 hours, 38 minutes. My most used apps are definitely like social media apps. Yeah, like last week, 12 hours on Instagram, so.
I feel like it helps me connect socially. I actually have a group chat with people around the world. Like I have people from Canada, India, Indonesia, Africa. Like I have a whole group chat with a bunch of people.
I definitely think that there are students that are addicted to it. Just last week or 2 weeks ago, we wrote that response about whether or not students should have their phones in class and the amount of students that were not capable of acknowledging the addictions that students can develop. Like they can make connections to dopamine but not see the connection that it has to the addiction they're developing every time that dopamine's released when the phone's there. The connection between our inability to pay attention to two things at once, right? Like they think, oh, if it's just sitting on my desk, I'm never gonna notice it, I'm never gonna pay attention to it, when we know that phones are designed very specifically to catch our attention. Whether we're feeling it, whether we're seeing it, it can catch our attention. And you know, unfortunately, a lot of times what's on that phone is going to be more interesting than what's going on in the class. And so with those underdeveloped prefrontal cortex of the brain and the teenager, we're more likely to give in to those temptations. So I do see that that is an impact. When I've observed other classes, when I see things where kids are more able to have those phones out, it becomes a bigger issue with that lack of resisting the urge.
One of my friends' average screen time every day is like 9 hours.
Sure, they say this phone rule is so stupid, yada yada, but if you actually had a rule where you can use your phones in class, you wouldn't pay attention to the teacher. You'll have your AirPods in, you'll be on your phone, and then when the assignment comes due and you're like, why is my grade so low? It's completely your fault. Like you didn't sit there and actually try to work. You were just on your phone or you're Googling the answers, and now you didn't learn anything when the big tests come up and you can't have your phone out.
And it's with me and my phone where it's like, I know how to use a phone. I keep using the phone. It's been a tool since I was a little kid. And so I keep using it. The problem is letting it go. When you keep using something and you don't stop using it, it's hard to let it go. It's hard to just, get rid of it and say be done.
Do you think there are any better alternatives to phone usage? Yeah, like exercise. Honestly, watching movies with your friends, like not on a phone, like connect with others. You can still watch a screen, but not on your phone. Reading a book, taking a walk, sitting outside, anything that is literally not on your phone. Perfect. Thank you.
viewers, for so long, older generations have labeled Gen Z as screenagers or chronically online. So, today we've compiled a bunch of videos of teenagers explaining how they feel about this label and how they feel about screen time. So, without further ado, let's get into today's episode.
My name is Musaib Mohammed and I'm 18 years old.
My name is Anya and I'm 17 years old.
Hi, my name is George and I'm 15 years old.
When I'm on my phone, I usually just go on TikTok or I look over like past assignments that I need to do before like going on like, I don't know, Google or reading books.
I think I'm on my phone like 10 hours a day.
I think I'm on my phone about 4 hours a day. When I'm on my phone, I usually watch TikToks or I scroll through Instagram, social media. I watch like Netflix or YouTube videos, and like I scroll through Pinterest, and usually my phone is I'm just like texting people or really accessing kind of, you know, things online. I think a lot of issues like societally actually do stem from phone usage, specifically within the younger population, actually in the older population as well. Mostly just because a lot of times we're influenced by the things we see online and things we see on the internet, and I think it's had really harmful impacts on how we view ourselves and how we view the world.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's mainly due to social media. Many children feel like pressured like by like social media to like conform to like different standards and stuff like that. I've definitely experienced it. Social media has contributed to a lot of my insecurities, so I'd say pretty much so, yeah.
I think that a lot of societal issues do stem from phone usage. Like a lot of people do have screen addictions where they just stay on their phone for like an exorbitant amount of time, and it kind of like sucks away from their personal life. And I feel like it kind of feeds into incel culture, which is like people who assume that they can't get into a relationship or have loved ones because everyone is so picky. But in reality, they're just so absorbed in their technology where like just nobody enjoys being around them.
People can spread misinformation a lot faster. For example, like people can spread misinformation about vaccines, about this certain app, or about this certain food. Like even in my own community, like WhatsApp African auntie culture is like kind of out of hand. Like just spreading false info, like things like that, I think are really harmful. And I think kind of the internet, or like specifically TikTok, has become like a place where you're only able, like, for example, like I saw this thing on TikTok the other day that was like, oh, we made it so like being different is bad. Like it's really much, I feel like everybody use the same type of things, or like if when you're all consuming like the same type of feed or the same type of content every day, that kind of takes away from individuality. And I think social media has kind of done that just because of the type of things we see, like celebrities or models. Like a lot of those factors have just changed the way people view themselves, but also how they view their world in a sense.
Am I addicted to my phone? Yes, I think a little bit, but I do need to like put some like sort of reform so that I can like focus more on my schoolwork and things that are more important than it. I'm trying to like set up like a program, but like I don't know. Currently, I'm still addicted to my phone. Yes.
I can show you my screen time. For today or for the week? Okay. Wait, this is kind of fake. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this isn't true. My daily average, it says 8 hours, 23 minutes. Okay. Do I think this is real? I think this might be fake news. Like, daily average?
I think I'm on my phone like 10 hours a day.
Definitely one of those. Yeah, I love being on my phone, but I really do need to be off on it more. Like, you know, go outside.
Because I couldn't live without it, like at all. I'm kind of like, I have times in which I'm able to look at my phone. For example, I'm Muslim, if you couldn't tell, but I mean, I like during Ramadan, I tend to stay away a lot from my phone because like I fast from not sunrise, dawn until sunset, and for me, it's just like I don't want to be like focused on like materialistic things or like things from outside. Like I want to be focused on like my real reality. So like I disconnect from my phone, and a lot of times I see my best improvement during the time when I'm away from my phone. But I think it's just like, it's become, I've always grown up, I was born in 2006, like I've always grown up with a phone. So I feel like for me, it's like, if I didn't have a phone for a day, like at least I'd have my iPad, but like what would I do? Like I need to talk to people, I need to text, I need to do all sorts of things. So I feel like I am addicted to my phone, but not too addicted.
I don't think that Gen Z being labeled as screenagers is fair, just because I feel like so many other generations are also on their phone. Like my mom, she's Gen X, I think, and sometimes I'll be talking to her and ask her a question, but she'll just be so absorbed in like the Facebook AI video or the Candy Crush game on her phone that she won't even like respond to me. And I feel like it's the same way for millennials, and I feel like Gen Alpha is definitely more chronically online than Gen Z.
I think I can limit my screen time, and I have just tried to do so before.
So I think maybe just, I don't know, just setting up like a separate time and then spending like a good amount of time like doing work and stuff like that, so that you can still like get enough work done and then still like be able to go back in your phone just in case you do get distracted. I think Gen Z being labeled as screenagers is honestly pretty fair, because a lot of times like with this new technology, it's kind of hard not to be on your phone and stuff like that. But I don't think it's really like a bad thing to be on your phone, because I know like, I mean, I don't know, being on your phone is like pretty nice. I mean,
I think that phone usage can have a lot of benefits. You know, it can keep you in contact with people. It can help you like access your work, and it can help you like just get a bunch of knowledge just like at the click of a button.
You can be chronically online, but what you consume online is what matters. Like I can be chronically online because of the fact that I'm reading ebooks every day. I can be chronically online because of the fact that I'm, you know, just researching news articles, doing research, like I'm on my computer all day. I don't think that means like that doesn't have to necessarily be a bad thing. It only turns into a bad thing when the only thing you're doing online consists of like using social media just to like watch content, binge watch content, like things like that. I think that's when it becomes kind of fair to be like, oh, you're chronically online. Like if you're just referencing TikTok quotes every single day, okay, that's not harmful. At the end of the day, like, what are you doing with your time? Like, what are you doing on the internet? You know? But I do think that phones are very useful in our society today, and I don't think we could live without our phones. I think it connects us to a lot of things, and especially to people. So things like that, I feel like our phones are they're impactful in our life in a lot of ways that we don't actually like think, or that we don't actually try to interpret. But it doesn't always have to be a bad thing. But also be chronically online, be mindful when you're like chronically online. I think that's the most important thing, to understand that you need to have a balance between, you know, being online and like being in your own reality.
Well, that was interesting. Now that we've got Jenny's opinions, we must remind ourselves that phone usage isn't always a bad thing. If we can learn to balance our technology, if you can learn to balance our screen time, then it can be used as a very powerful tool in our everyday lives. But we must also add that everyone is affected by the negative effects of technology. Not just Gen Z, nor is it Gen X, but everyone. It is of utmost importance that we learn to understand each other if we want to break this cycle. And that change starts with you. Thank you for joining us. CTVN signing off.